So is it possible to quit your job and sell on eBay? That's the million-dollar question. I know a lot of people who are watching this video right now are working 9-to-5 jobs and they want to quit their job. They're sick and tired of getting yelled at. You're sick and tired of having to clock in and clock out. You want your freedom. You want to be able to spend more time with your family, but you're scared and you're not sure, is it possible to quit my job and sell on eBay? So I want to talk about 6 things that I would recommend you consider and some things to think about before quitting your job. So to kind of give you some context of this conversation, I quit my job about 6 years ago. I was delivering pizzas. I was selling, well, I was selling some things. If you guys know my story, I ain't gonna talk about that. But I was waiting on tables at the Cracker Barrel, and I was doing a whole bunch of crappy things. But anyways, I quit my job. I can't take all the credit for that because I know a lot of you guys are like in a lot tougher situations. A lot of you guys are like, you have families, you have kids, you have a lot of responsibilities. Like for me, it was easy. Like I was like 23 or 24 at the time. I didn't have a lot of bills. You know, I lived at home with my parents, so it was a lot easier for me. So I don't want to like try to make it seem like I did something so amazing because I know it was a lot easier for me than you guys. But anyways, let's discuss some of the things that I thought about and some things that I would consider that you think about before quitting your job and kind of getting a better understanding is it possible to quit your job and sell on eBay? So enough talk, let's get into it. The first thing is, how much money do you need to make? In order for you to quit your job and selling on eBay full time, how much money do you need to make? Do you need to make $150,000 a year to quit your job? Because if that's the case, you're probably not going to be able to quit your job. Are there people who make $150,000 a year selling clothing on eBay? Yes. Are there a lot of them? No. The people who have it, do they have employees? Do they have warehouses? I'm going to assume yes for the most part. So you got to ask yourself, how much money do you need? Do you need $25,000, $50,000, maybe $75,000 profit for the year? Yeah, you could definitely quit your job selling on eBay, but it's not going to be easy. It's going to take time, and there's going to be kind of like cash flow issues, which means you're going to have to invest a lot more money up front to kind of build up your inventory and learn and buy equipment. So it's going to take some time, but it is possible to quit your job. But how much money do you need? So you've got to think about that. If you're looking to make 6 figures, 100,000, 150, 200,000, I'm going to say no right now, unless, and this is the thing I'm going to talk about, unless you choose a specific business model that allows you to do so. On eBay, it's kind of tough, you know, being just by yourself and going to thrift stores and garage sales. I know there's people out there who do it, but it's tough and it's a lot of work, and it takes years to kind of master, you know, the performance of that and the art of like reselling. So it depends how much money you make, but what's your business model, right? Are you drop shipping on eBay? Like my good friend Paul, and he runs the Hustle Husbands YouTube channel. Check him out. He's been drop shipping on eBay, which means he's not even like physically touching the products. He's not physically shipping the products. What he's doing is he's listing items from like Home Depot, from Walmart, from Amazon, and when it sells, he's essentially purchasing the items from the website, and then they send it off to the customer. It's very, very scalable. And last month he did over $200,000 in sales and $18,000 profit, but it took him over a year to get to that point. So if you go with a business model like that and you know what you're doing, you may have a better chance of making over 6 figures. But that's, you know, that's for another video right there. So you definitely got to consider, you know, your business model. Another thing you got to consider is how much time are you willing to spend, right? If you're working a full-time job and you want to quit your job to sell full-time on eBay, you're going to have to start to divvy up your time. So one thing I would ask yourself is, how much time could I spend after work investing in my eBay business? If you could only invest 20 minutes, you're probably not going to be able to do it. But if you could invest 1 to 2 hours every single night, going sourcing, listing items, shipping before you go to work, you can definitely build up that snowball of inventory and items that sell and eventually get to that point. That's kind of how I did it, although I started with Craigslist and bicycles and moved to clothing. And again, my story, it was a lot easier. I was definitely going through a lot of things because I was addicted to like smoking weed, and I was way overweight, and I had a lot of problems and kind of like just issues I was dealing with. So I don't want to take it all away from me. We all have our issues and challenges. But how much time can you spend? You know, I was willing to go freaking hard. When I wasn't working at the Cracker Barrel or delivering pizzas, man, I was sourcing. I was freaking sniping items off Craigslist. I was going to thrift stores. I was listing like a madman. Like, you should even ask my mother. If you ever see her at a thrift store, I know a lot of you guys run into her. just ask her, like, what did Steven's bedroom look like at that time? Like, my freaking bedroom looked like a freaking JCPenney's warehouse. It was crazy. I was a freaking weirdo. Yeah, I mean, you got to put in the work. Another thing I'd ask myself too is if you want to quit your full-time job to sell full-time on eBay, what's your risk tolerance? How willing are you to take a risk? How willing are you to possibly come up empty-handed and fail? Because there's no guarantees when you're in business for yourself. There's no guarantees that item's going to sell. There's times where a couple days would go by and there would be no sales. I'm thinking to myself, holy crap, is this over? Like, is this eBay business over? Is my clothing business done? And one thing I learned about selling on eBay and just business in general is there's going to be peaks and valleys. There's going to be ups and downs, and that's the way that it goes. So you've got to have a strong, belief in yourself, and you've got to stay focused on your vision. You've got to be willing to take a risk. There's no guarantees. Here's another question, guys. You want to go full-time selling on eBay? Is it possible? Yes, but are you the type of person who's willing to learn new things? I can tell you guys, I interact with a lot of sellers, family members, friends who want to get into selling on eBay, selling on Amazon, starting a YouTube channel. But here's the big problem that most people deal with. They hate learning. They absolutely hate learning. Listen, you got to learn when you work a job, and there's things are going to change from time to time, but for the most part, things usually stay the same. When you're working for yourself, when you're selling on eBay, when you're sourcing your own products, when you're dealing with payment processing and customer service and trends, things are changing left and right. It's crazy how fast the world is changing. If you're not willing to learn the next cutting edge strategy, or if you're not willing to adopt new practices to deal with different rules and regulations on eBay and Amazon and vice versa, I mean, you're going to die and you're not going to make it in terms of your business. So are you willing to learn? Here's another thing. Do you have a deep, burning desire to succeed? When you work for yourself, there ain't nobody telling you clock in, clock out, go list, go source. Hey, go take those pictures. You got to get to the thrift store. There's a half off sale. When you're working for a job, you got your boss yelling at you. You got customers being jerks. You got all these different pressure points pushing you in a certain direction, right? You've got all these obligations that you have to fulfill. But when you work for yourself, you could easily just not go to the thrift store. You could easily not list. And it's easy to justify and make up excuses why you're not doing what you know you need to be doing. So are you the type of person who has a really deep burning desire? Do you want to show somebody wrong? Do you want to support your family? Do you want to have your freedom to travel? Did your parents and grandparents never get to travel and you want to see the world? Maybe something really messed up happened in your life and you've got a point to prove. Those are the types of people who are going to succeed in terms of quitting their job and going full-time on eBay or Amazon or really any other avenue. Another thing is, are you self-driven? I know I kind of talked about this before, but you've got to be willing to have that reason to push forward. Are you the type of person who needs permission? Like someone has to tell you something or someone has to give you directions? Are you not the creative type? Are you not the type of person who's able to problem solve and figure things out on your own? I mean, yeah, there's people that you can talk to, and I'd highly recommend joining groups like the Green Room or even free Facebook groups or interacting in YouTube channels or whatever. Get around like-minded people, that's key. But for the most part, you're going to have to know how to figure things out, and you've got to be self-driven. So guys, you want to quit your job on eBay? You want to quit your job and sell on eBay? Is it possible? Absolutely 100%. But if you need to make $100,000, $200,000 quick, it's going to take you a while. You're probably looking at the wrong business. If you don't have time to invest to build it up, to snowball the business, you're probably not going to succeed. If you're not willing to take a risk and fail and deal with ups and downs, you probably want to stick with your job. If you're not willing to learn new things and adjust and be willing to deal with change, you're probably not going to make it selling on eBay. If you don't have a burning desire and a real reason to succeed and something that fires you up, probably should just stick to your job. I'm not trying to be a Debbie Downer, but it takes a certain type of person to make it in this business. And if you're not self-driven, if you're not willing to source on your own and create goals and put them up on your on your mirror and read your goals every day and keep moving forward and progressing, you're probably not going to make it selling on eBay. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to make money on eBay, but it takes certain qualities and a certain type of person to make it. So I just want to put this video out there for you guys. I want you to succeed on eBay. I want you to be able to quit your job. I want you to be able to have your freedom. I want you to be able to support your family and gain financial independence and accomplish your goals and be happy. But just realize it's not as easy as it looks from some of these YouTube channels, even like myself, some of these people talking in Facebook groups. It takes a certain type of person. So with that being said, guys, go out there, crush it, make it happen. If you guys have any more tips for folks who want to quit their job, leave a comment down below. All right, guys, peace.